Hi everyone, it's Stephanie here and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be creating a card with our newest card kit. This month's kit is called Painted Prints and it has some really beautiful stamps and dies as well as some cardstock and our new heavyweight vellum. So I'm going to be creating a card that has a vellum card base and then we're going to create a stamp panel to add to the card front. This new translucent vellum is so pretty in real life and it is super heavyweight, so it's kind of hard to see on screen, but I can almost compare it to a piece of cardstock. That's how thick it actually is, but you still get that beautiful translucent effect of the vellum. So for my card today, I'm going to be using the vellum as my card base. So I went ahead and cut that piece of paper in half, and then I scored one of the halves in half to create my card base. So this is going to be an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I definitely recommend using a bone folder and a scoring tool to create your fold, just to prevent cracking of the vellum. And now you can see just how strong and thick this vellum is. The card easily stands on its own with no folding or bending, and it's going to create a beautiful card base. So now what I want to do on this is I want to do some layering with some cardstock pieces. I want to have the white piece on the front and then I want to have the pink piece on the inside of the card so that we can just see a hint of that border around the panel that we're going to stamp. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of get an idea of where I want to put the sentiment onto the panel. So I have the brushstroke expression stamp set and I picked out the thank you stamp and just kind of placed that on there and decided that I liked it at the bottom. So I'm just going to set it aside and do the floral stamping. Now I am using my MISTI to do my stamping so I can double stamp and get really nice solid impressions, but you definitely don't need this to do this technique. You can just use an acrylic block and stamp directly onto the panel. So you'll notice as I stamp along here, I'm just going to keep flipping my panel in my MISTI, and that's just going to allow me to easily stamp off the edge since I want this floral pattern to kind of fill up this whole panel but not be contained in the center. I want to have everything kind of going off of the edge just to give it a really nice completed look. I love the flower and leaf images in this painted print stamp set. There's just a great variety of images and you get both the solid stamp as well as the top layering stamp, which is kind of like a brush stroke look, and it just has a really nice artistic feel to it. To do all of the stamping, I'm using the same colors of ink as the cardstock that comes in the kit. I love the color palette in this month's kit, so I knew it would be beautiful as stamped flowers as well. So I'm using Peach Bellini, Persimmon, and Coral Crush for the peach colored flowers. And then for the pink ones, I'm using Pink Lemonade, Cotton Candy, and Razzleberry. And for the leaves and stems, I did introduce a third color, so I'm using the Gumdrop Green and Sour Apple, which is the same colors in the card kit, and then I also added in Limelight, just for a really nice lime green color. So I just continued to stamp on the panel until I had a floral pattern that I liked, and then I finished it off by stamping the sentiment in black ink on the bottom. And then one of my favorite things to do when I create a stamped floral pattern is to add a few little dot stamps kind of mixed in between the flowers and the leaves just to kind of fill up some of that white space. So I pulled out my Bold Blossom stamp set and I'm just using some cement gray ink and I'm stamping these little dots kind of scattered around the panel. I'm keeping the area around the sentiment pretty open because I want that sentiment to stand out. And then I realized I did forget to stamp one of the stems, so I added that in. And I added a little leaf stamp as well into an area that had a little bit of trapped white space, so it kind of just filled in that stamping. So now it's time to add our panel to our card base. So I'm adding that to the center of our vellum card base that we made earlier. And you can see when I open that up, you can easily see that adhesive through the vellum. So this is where that pink piece is helpful because not only is it going to conceal all of our adhesive, but it's also going to provide me with this really pretty border around our stamped panel. But because we have it layered behind the vellum, it's really nice and soft and it doesn't compete with our stamping. So now you can see I have the panel on the front and the pink piece on the inside. So now we're going to need somewhere to write our message. So I've cut down 2 more pieces of white cardstock and we're going to add these to both the inside and the back of the card. So I've put adhesive onto the white panel and I'm putting it onto the pink piece inside of the card upside down so that the adhesive is showing. And then I'm folding the back of the card over top of that panel. And because there's adhesive already on it, it's going to stick to the back of the card and we're going to have everything lined up so that it's hidden behind the pink piece when we close the card. Now once again, we can see that adhesive through the vellum to the back of the card. So this 4th piece of cardstock is going to conceal that and give our card a completely finished look. So you can see now I have my stamp panel, I have the white pieces on the inside and the back, and I have the pink piece on the inside front. And the white piece on the back is also going to be a great place to be able to put your handmade by stamp if you like to add those to your card. So since this card is relatively simple, I decided to add a little bit of sparkle and shine. So I do have my Nuvo glitter pen, and I added a little bit of glitter to each of those little gray dots. And then I'm also taking my Nuvo glaze and adding a little drop of that onto all of the dots as well, which is just going to give them a sparkly, raised, shiny look. And I really love the overall effect once they dry. And now we've completed our card, and we have this beautiful floral stamped thank you card with a vellum card base. And you can see there just once again how strong this is. I just think it's beautiful, and I love the vellum as the card base. I just think it's so elegant that you can kind of see through the edges of the card. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. As always, I really appreciate you being here and spending some time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Thanks for watching.